Good morning, Intenders.
Good morning.
Welcome and welcome back to Morning Intentions. Today is Monday, March 9th. Annette, a little check-in with our questionnaire that we had last Friday about tolerating too much. How'd you do with that? Just a recap to get us started this week.
I thought about it all weekend. What came up for me is that these are things that we all need to pay attention to because they're real. When we're being intentional, like going through a book like this is the time to be honest with ourselves. If I would have had a list like this, my life would have been different.
How so?
Well, I did do a lot of this tolerating. I don't do it anymore. I will say there wasn't really anything on this list that I continue to do, but that's because, like I shared, I'm very intentional because I can slip back into high-functioning codependency really easily. So please, if you believe that you might be a high-functioning codependent or you love someone who is a high-functioning codependent, understanding what we tolerate and what we don't have to tolerate any longer is extremely helpful in our healing work. Terry Cole has, and it's on page 32 if you happen to have the book, she has these little, what she calls loving reminders throughout the book. When we're thinking about that list that we took some time to process over the weekend, her loving reminder is that you deserve more than what you're tolerating. Truly, the only way that that will seem to resonate in your life is if you are honest and you see these things that you're tolerating. And then to know that you deserve more than a life filled with all these things to tolerate so that you can show up as the best version of yourself. This week, Ada, we wanted to move forward in the book, and we're in chapter 2 now. Chapter 2 is about caring versus being codependent, and we did talk about that quite a bit last week in our introduction week. But what we want to focus on, and this is a big focus here, she has a section, and if you are reading along with us, it's on page 40. She calls it unhealthy helping. She has this book that she recommended, and I do have the book. I started reading it years ago, and I didn't finish it, and I'm going to finish it now. It's called Unhealthy Helping. On page 41, there is another checklist that we wanted to go through on the podcast together.
Because even though, yes, there is high-functioning codependency and there is also kindness and generosity, it can get blurry to determine which is which. When am I just coming from a loving heart, and when am I acting from a place of codependency? And these questions that Terry Cole has provided us with can give us some clues and hints about which one we're showing up with.
Because it's really hard to know when you're deep into high-functioning codependency. You might think, well, I'm just doing this to be nice. Like we said last week, we wanted to start out last week the way we did so that not every kind thing is now under the banner of high-functioning codependency. So there's a difference.
And some people might ask you, are you sure you want to do that? Seems like you're going out of your way. And you might say, oh, no, I love them. I want to be helpful. Does that sound familiar, Annette?
It does, and that's the blurry part, because you do love them and you do want to help, but then it gets into a space that's not healthy for you or for them.
No, and we never want to give up our loving hearts, but we want to put them, we'll say, to good use in a way that serves the other person as well as yourself.
Okay, so she has a section here called Back to You, and then she says, if you are wondering if your way of showing kindness, generosity, and care is really genuine, or if your version of helping tips into codependency, ask yourself the following questions. So here we can get some true clarity about what helping truly is and where we go off into codependency. Ask yourself, am I helping because I want to, or do I feel obligated? Now, what you were just talking about, Ada, well, of course, I want to help. I love them. Well, this is just what moms do. This is just what dads do. Those can be true, and they can also be excuses for our codependent behavior. Typically, people that are codependent and high-functioning codependent don't stop long enough to say, do I want to do this? Do I feel obligated to do this? Back to the compulsion that we talked about last week. So Ada, as our resident non-codependent person, do you ever help when you don't want to? Do you feel obligated to help?
Sure, sometimes.
And what do you do when you feel obligated? Do you check in?
Well, I consider the situation and consider, even if I do have a sense of obligation, I use the golden rule: do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. So is this something I would hope someone else helps me out with or does for me? Is it gonna break the bank of my time and energy or money? Is it a big deal? Is it a quick thing? I go through the situation and see, well, I feel obligated, but I don't know, I love this person. I care about him. It's not going to hurt me in any way other than maybe it was just something I didn't plan for.
So why do you say that how you show up in life isn't codependent?
Because I think it through. It doesn't feel compulsive to me.
And do you sometimes say, I can't really do this? I don't have time.
Yeah, I do say that. And I'll let you know.
And if you don't have time and you say it, do you have guilt over it, or is it pretty much finished?
It's pretty much finished. I don't really think about it. If I could, I would have, but I can't. So what can I do?
Okay, so that is a very good answer to prove codependency versus not codependency. If you're able to turn somebody down, which you're typically not with high functioning codependency, but if you are able to turn someone down, you can go into a lot of negative self-talk. I'm selfish. If I would have just done this, then I would have had time. I wonder if they think that I don't care about them. I'm not the friend that I really should be. Lots of shoulds. There's a lot that's tacked on to if we're in a space where we don't do it. And typically, if we feel obligated, we'll move heaven and earth to do it, even at our own expense.
Yeah, probably if I think about it as we're talking here, the times that I have felt that sense of obligation, maybe from the type of relationship or a desire to have that giving and receiving circle be complete and running in a circular fashion. After I think about it, it does turn into a want to. I do want to be helpful, and I've thought about it. It's not going to hurt me in any way, and it contributes to the giving and receiving circle. So, okay, yeah, I want to do this. My sense of obligation usually comes from, okay, I'm kind of rigid on my schedule and I have my plan. And then if someone asks me to do something that's out of the blue, I didn't plan for, I can feel like that sense of like, I didn't plan for this. I wasn't prepared for this mentally. And you asked me, and it's kind of throwing me off because I didn't plan for it. But then as I think about it and say, okay, yeah, that'll be fine.
But when you turn them down, that's what I want you to focus on.
So what you're focusing on with, is it kindness or codependency? You can check in. It's really about how do you feel after you turn them down?
Well, yes, because it sounds like you check in. So right away there, you're not compulsively codependent. So you check in, you say, well, maybe this kind of took me off my plan, but I can do it. But then what if you say, no, I can't do it? And what I heard you say earlier is that you're able to move on. When you're in codependency, it's very difficult to move on because number one, it's even hard to turn it down. But then if you can turn it down, it stays with you. You second guess yourself.
No, I don't have that problem at all.
So then that's why you're not codependent, and that's why I am.
Hmm. So, our intention for today is a reflection question, the same one we just reflected on. Am I helping because I want to, or do I feel obligated? Am I helping because I want to, or do I feel obligated? And as Annette is sharing, check in more about how you feel inside when you want to say no or after you've said no. If you feel guilt, feel shame, feel remorse or regret for what you may have done to them,
Or you go into negative self-talk.
that could be a key indicator that you're coming from codependency more so than kindness and generosity. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our day is better because you are part of our day. See you tomorrow.
See you then.